Hey guys, what's up? Derek T here, Films with Purpose Studios. So it is it's 11:30, pretty much 11:29, 11:30 here on the West Coast in California. And I got a surprise. I got This is gonna be a treat for those of you that are fans of the movie One False Move. This is gonna be a real good treat for you. Hold on, let me adjust my seat. This is gonna be a real good treat for you. And I decided to come on here because I have been seeing on YouTube a lot of you guys are loving the movie, great reviews, and I just can't help myself, man. I usually just remain quiet and I just go on about my life and doing what I'm doing. But I see this and I'm just like, you know what? I'll say something and on you know, I'm just going to say something from my experience of working on the movie One False Move. My experience of being cast in the movie of One False Move. And it was great. It was great. And I have some pictures that you guys have never seen. And some of the pictures are on my IMDb. And I'm going to go there right now. So you guys going to, so some of you are like, wait a minute. Who is this guy? Wait, he was in One False Move. What part? What part? I'm 55 now, but I was 19 when I was cast in the movie One False Move. So, and I want to give flowers to Carl Franklin, Billy Bob Thornton, Cinda Williams, Michael Beach, Earl Billings, whom I saw I saw him like a few months ago. And shout out to Roy Fagan. And yeah, it was great, man. And wow, it's great. It's just I'm overwhelmed. I look at this, it's like some of it's been a few months ago, some of it's been a couple years. But I just want to say, in case I don't ever get to see Carl again in person because of schedules and all that, or I just want to say thank you, Carl. You started an independent filmmaker too, and man, I really appreciate you for giving me an opportunity and giving me that chance. Billy Bob, thank you for writing that script. And for you, same thing, for giving me that chance. Don Pembrick, thank you for casting me, brother. I appreciate it. And taking a chance, on a newbie. And it was a great experience, and I never forget it. And now I'm putting myself in the position to where I can give other people opportunities that might not have it. So through Films with Purpose Studios. So guys, let's get into this. This is a real good treat for you guys. I know you're going to enjoy it. And I can only talk about the 2 days I was on set, but I'm also going to share the story behind how it all happened for me. How did I end up in One False Move? How did it all happen? And yeah, and it's a it's a great testimony of when God blesses you to be creative, and He did not. You guys may feel like you want to create something. You got this desire to act or to be in films, and sometimes you're wondering, man, is it a mistake or something? I'm here to tell you it's not. And after I give you my testimony, I'm going to show you how good the Lord is, and how that you guys will hear that God works in mysterious ways, but I'm going to show you, man. Hey, there's no way in the world I would have there was just no way. And I didn't have one of the larger parts or anything, and like they said in the acting world, there are no small parts, only small actors. And I'm not a small actor, but we start from somewhere. So this was a beginning film for me. Prior to that, I worked on Boys in the Hood I did some extra work and a photo double. Let me stop hitting my desk. I did some extra work and a photo double for Cuba Gooding Jr. Lawrence Fishburne had accidentally cut a bald spot in his head. A lot of you don't know about that, but that was hilarious. So I came in for the haircut scene. It didn't make that scene didn't make it was a close-up, so it'll be a close-up of my head getting shaved, but didn't make the final cut. On somewhere during the Crenshaw Wall scene with the girl in the car. Talking about, do you know how to drive stick? Shout out to Leonetta. She was also from the school where a lot of us went. for acting for Marla Gibbs, Miss Marla Gibbs, Crossroads Arts Academy Theater. Shout out to Miss Marla Gibbs. So, guys, let's get into it. But first, let me show you who I am. Let me bring the receipts, because I know some people would be like, man, this dude wasn't in One False Move. This guy, man, whatever, man. We got all these people out here talking all this yik yak and all that. And, and there are, but I'm not one of them. So let me just bring the receipts up so you guys can see. All right. So here we are. Let me bring this here. I didn't do my sound check. I usually do a sound check before I shoot my video, but I believe it's working. So thank you, Lord, it's working. So, okay, let me add this to the stage right now. So here we go, guys. All right, there we are. So here we are, One False Move. We're on IMDb. Now, see, go to IMDb, guys, because if you go to Google, I'm gonna show you this. This is gonna be interesting. If you go to IMDb, put in one False Move, IMDb. All right, scroll down. And then we go to top cast. Uh-oh. Who do you see right here? Who's that? Who's this guy right here? Who that right there? Derek Williams. That me. Darren. So let's get that. Let's zoom on in. Let's zoom on in up in there. There I am. Derek Williams. Let's see. Do I look familiar? Let me see. Does that match up? Does that match up how I look today? Is it matching? Is it matching? Is it matching? Is that me? Is that me right there? Okay. So, yeah, we're going to get into this, guys. Let's see. Is this me? Is that me, guys? That same guy? I just don't have the rest of it. I like cutting it in the goatee sometimes, but is that me? Let me see if I can do the rest of the face here. Is that me? You can tell the dots right there. The dots on my cheek. There it is. So freckles. So here we go. Let me show you. Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. All right. So we made it clear that this is me now, but let's look at me back in the day when I was casting One False Move. Now that's me years ago. There I am. Yes, Mr. Dancing Dude at the beginning of the movie. And there's Jim. Interesting thing about this guy right here. Very nice elderly man. He's the owner of the house. And I don't know if he's still with us or not, but because this was years ago. And he is the grandfather of, I believe it was one of the members of Rat. He told me that. He was like, yeah, I'm the grandfather. My grandson plays in the rock group Rat. And I think he was the drummer. I was like, what? Oh yeah. I was like, it was cool. So that's him. And let's go here. That's me and Michael Beach. Right down here, if you look, that's Billy Bob Thornton right there. And next to him is Cinda. Right here in the striped shirt, that's Carl Franklin. So I think right next to Carl, that's Tony Toe. Shout out to Tony Toe, Carl. And yeah, so it was a great time, guys. It was a small set, that day. And there's me and Carl. Funny thing is, I was a big fan of the A-Team. And it never dawned on me, even when I was talking to Carl from the let me look at you guys on this one, because this is kind of funny. I'm a huge fan of the A-Team, right? And when I was a kid, I was always watching the A-Team. And it never dawned on me that when I was speaking to Carl Franklin, when I speak to Carl about, coming down to audition, I knew, I don't know what it was, but I didn't know that I was speaking to Carl's like a legend in acting. I mean, he's been in some top shows back in the day. And Carl was on the A Team. I used to watch Carl, and I didn't even know I was. And I'm sitting in front of him talking to him, and it never clicked. It never clicked till after the movie. It never clicked. It never clicked. For whatever reason, I think I was just so focused on getting my break. Here, let me show you Carl on the A Team, guys. See if you guys remember him. Some of you, let's see, because for whatever reason, I didn't. I was like, it didn't, so, and I always say it's always good for, some of the best directors were actors, man. Some of the best directors were actors. That's Carl as Captain Crane on the A Team. Yeah, I was like, wow. I had no idea. And let me just share this all with you guys, how this all started. And it's gonna go back to I'm just gonna give you how it all started on for me and for June, for Phyllis, and for Lauren Taylor. He was the guy that was Bobby's other friend, the one that had the plastic bag over his head. Well, I don't want to give it away. Spoiler alerts, but you guys, so we all came from the same acting school. And shout out to Miss Marla Gibbs. She started acting school in South Central LA. And most of you remember her from The Jeffersons. She played Florence, the maid on The Jeffersons. And then she was on 227. And she you want to talk about someone that helped start a lot of careers. It was Marla Gibbs. And because of her school, a lot of young Black talent ended up, and older talent too, had a lot of careers going to that school, man. And it was right there in Leimert Park, between Leimert Park and Degnan. And there was in South Central LA, and there was it's where the you guys remember the I don't know, for those of you that are from LA, the water tower, the watchtower, that it says in Leimert Park, you can see this building says Watchtower. It was an old Jehovah's Witness building and theater. So she owned both of those, right? So the building's no longer there. And I was watching Straight Outta Compton. And when they pulled up in the tour van and they were getting out of the tour van and they were in this fenced area, that's where the school was. It's no longer there. My heart broke. I'm like, oh man, that's Crossroads. It's like, oh man. And I went over there. And I usually visit a place called the Museum in Black that's across the street. And there was a Mexican restaurant across the street called Chapala. And because I used to work at the school, and I used, of course, I was going to classes there. And so I went there, and it's just, sometimes when things change, guys, it can be heartbreaking. There's a lot of great memories right there. A lot of great memories from Crossroads, man. I've met a lot of people that are stars today. In and out of that school. We had the rap party there for Boys in the Hood. John had his office there in the Hood. And I'm gonna tell you who was the director of the school back then. And shout out to him, man, because he's the one. This man is the one that was. And it's just, you never know who God's going to put in your life. But sometimes, I'm going to tell you something. The Lord got a sense of humor, man. Sometimes you may not know who God's going to put in your life, but sometimes you're watching who God puts in your life and you just don't know it yet. Like I said, I watched Carl on the A Team. I had no idea that Carl Franklin would be the one to give me my first opportunity to be in a movie where I was able to get SAG eligibility because I had some lines. I had no idea. And then Billy Bob Thornton, I was watching Billy Bob Thornton too. He was on The Outsiders TV series. I don't know if you guys knew that. There was a TV series called The Outsiders based on the film. Billy Bob Thornton played Buck, the bar owner. So when I met him at the audition, I immediately recognized. I was like, "Hey, man, you're Buck." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, on the outside." I said, "Can I get your autograph?" And I was there to audition, and he says, and I had read the script, and he wrote it too, and I was like, "Yeah, I noticed that." He was real cool. I'm gonna get back on that one, but let me give yeah, Billy Bob is real cool, man. And so let me get back on this one, and let me much respect to this man, much respect to yes, much respect, man. You guys have no idea. They have no idea. I'm just let me explain this to you. Let me let me share. Man. Oh, and there's Miss Marla. There's Miss Marla Gibbs. Oh, this is perfect. Let me share this. Let me share this. Um, the man that has been responsible for a lot of acting careers as well as Miss Marla Gibbs, and the man that said, that told that talked to John, and when John was getting ready to put his production company into the school, into one part of the school, because the place was big, Crossroads was big. So on the other half, they had the rehearsals, they had the production offices, everything like that. And Mr. Whitman Mayo says, "Hey, look, we can let you come in as long as you use some of our people in your movie." So there were a lot of new actors that were in Boys in the Hood. And the man that did this is Mr. Whitman Mayo. Mr. Whitman Mayo, guys. And you see right here, this is Miss Marla Gibbs right here. And Mr. Mayo was, man, I can't thank him enough. I can't thank him enough. And most of you remember him as Grady on Sanford and Son. And when I have my full beard, like, I get people crack on me. They'll say, "Hey, Grady," and they don't understand. I take that as an honor, because I actually knew the man, and he was great. He looked out for me. He just, he looked out for a lot of us, and he was a great man. He was awesome, man. And man, when people that don't have to do anything, that people, this is what I understand about this generation. You try to mentor the other people and everything, and sometimes this generation gets this, "Oh, you're trying to sun me," and everything else. You need to understand, people don't have to help you. People don't have to help you. I could have just been the student and, went there and just went to school and worked and everything else and just do what I was told. But, he pointed things out to me, showed me this. And it was because of him. Thank God for him. And Miss Marla Gibbs for having her school, and Mr. Whitman Mayo, he was the one who set up the meeting for me to meet Carl Franklin. Oh, I'm giving flowers, man. He was the one. It was Mr. Whitman Mayo. Mr. Whitman Mayo, before One False Move, he was the one who introduced me to John Singleton. Right when John Singleton came out of USC, brought his company to Crossroads, and Mr. Mayo says, "Hey, Derek, what are you doing right now?" And I was with my my other mentor, who was my supervisor that worked there as well. His name is Keith Anderson. And he rests in power too, both of them. And I'm trying not to get choked up because both of them are gone, and Keith just passed away a few months ago. So it was me, it was Mr. Mayo, Keith, and myself. He says, "Hey, I got this director I want you to meet." So we went down to like the banquet area, and right there was John. And this is before he became like, John Singleton, boys. No, he just graduated, got the deal for Boys in the Hood. And here I am, my first introduction to him. And I sat down with him, and then I had Keith Mr. Mayo right here, Keith right here. Or no, Keith right here, Mr. Mayo right there. And I was sitting down, and he said, "Yeah, Derek, this is John. John, this is Derek." And shook hands. And John says, "So what do you like to do?" I said, "I like acting, but I really want to direct." And he says, so would you be interested in interning for my film? And I was like, what's intern mean? I don't know. I didn't know what intern meant at this. I was like, what's that? And both Mr. Mayo and Keith go, I'm like, yeah. I said, yes. I told John, yes, I would. And he said, great, I'll get your information and everything else later and stuff. So, and so what ends up happening, guys, this is what I say, guys, it makes, I didn't know that it was a law. It was in the rules or whatever back in the day that in order for you to intern, you had to be in college. And I wasn't in college at the time. So I couldn't do it. And my mom and my mom and people say, Derek, make sure you get in school when you get out there. Make sure you get in school. I was like, I'm done with school. I'm like, no. I just want to act. I missed that. I thought I missed on an opportunity. I was heartbroken because I would see John every day. Matter of fact, Keith's nephew, his name is Arthur, and we were responsible for waking up John so he can go back to the set. It was like, I think it was like 1 o'clock or something like that. He would come in, take a nap. So we go over there, like 1:30, said our wife was 8, we got to go wake up John. And then he would go over there and finish up shooting and stuff. So, but yeah, Mr. Mayo made that introduction. But then what ends up happening is I was able to do extra work. And then one of the guys that was the photo double for Cuba Gooding Jr. had cut his hair. And you're not supposed to do that. If you're a photo double for somebody, do not cut your hair without getting the permission from the director and whoever else is in charge of that. So they were looking for another photo double, and I was walking past, and I would go there, clean up the office. I would take out the trash and clean up the office over there on that side. And there was a guy named he did the extra casting. It was Victor Davis. So shout out to Victor Davis. So he was doing the extra casting, and when he was doing the extra casting, he was on the phone, and I said, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "What's up, Vic?" He said, "What's up, Derek?" And he looked and said, "Hey, Derek." He said, Hold on, John. Derek." I said, "Yeah." He said, "You need a haircut?" I said, "Yeah, I do," because I was walking around like, Lord, I need a haircut. So I hadn't had a chance to go to the barbershop because it would close before I got off. And I'm like, yeah, I actually do need a haircut. And Victor gets back on the phone and says, "Hey, man, hey, I got somebody." He said, "Turn around, Derek. Turn around, everything." Yeah, his head is shaped like Cuba's. And I was sitting there like, what's going on? He's like, "Yeah, Derek, you know Derek. Little Derek." I had a nickname, Little Derek. "You know, Little Derek works around Crossroads here. Yeah, look, I'm gonna bring him to the set. Okay." He said, "Derek, we got to go to the set." I was like, all right. So I had to go let Keith know. And Keith was really cool. And they were shooting at 54th and Cimarron, shooting at the houses. So you had Trey's house and Doughboy's house, and they were right across the street from each other. So we had to go over there and went over there, and John was in the house. Didn't look too bad. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And he said, "This is Derek." Victor told me. He said, "Hey, this is Derek." I was like, and he looked at me and everything else. He says, all right. So I had to sit. So what I did was I went outside, and I was hanging out with the other extras and stuff, and we just having a good time watching them shoot and everything else. They didn't get to me the first day. They didn't get to me the second day, but they got to me the third day. But I was getting paid for each day. And back then, extra work was like $40 a day. So I got like $120 just for waiting. And then they finally got to me, and he's like, a couple seconds, and that was it. I got $120, man. I was like, yo, I normally spent like about $15 to $20 for a haircut, but this is the first time I got paid to get a haircut. And it was just the side of my head because Lawrence Fishburne accidentally cut a bald spot in Cuba's hair. And so they had to, he had to go to the trailer, and they had to cut off hair on the top of his head and sprinkle it on. What was the guy's name? The hairstyle, Stefan. I believe his name was Stefan. Yeah, he was really cool, man. He was the guy also The hairstylist was the guy at the bus stop. When he says, let me out, the guy's sitting there at the bus stop listening to the music or whatever. That was Stefan. That was the hairstylist, man. So shout out to him too. Everybody was cool. So so that happened. But I did that first. And then if somebody has a picture of where he was wearing the white shirt, black pants when he was getting ready to get his haircut, and I had the same thing on. And somebody took a picture of it, said, hey, can I get you two together? And they took a picture of me and Cuba Gooding Jr. together. And I never saw that picture. I never got that picture. So but maybe it's out. I don't know. Maybe it'll show up. Maybe it'll show up on here. We'll see. But yeah, man. So yeah, Miss Marla, yeah, man, this is oh man. Man. Mr. Mayo, man. Yeah, he was a great teacher, and he was a great he was a director of the school also. He was great. And then shout out to Mr. Pramon Rami. Man. Oh my goodness. I've got to leave a message on here. I've got to leave a message on there too. So I'm glad I did this because I'm like, okay, wow. So Mr. Mayo, I was downstairs working with my supervisor, Keith, and Mr. Mayo would come by and he said, Derek, he said, he would come by. He was real cool. He was like, he would call me Will. Will, because my last name is Williams. He's like, hey, Will. He was real smooth, man. What are you doing 7:30 on Thursday night? And I looked at Keith and said, what do we have? And he's like, nothing. I said, nothing, sir. I'm available, sir. He says, okay, I have a directive for you to meet. Be there 7:30 sharp. And I want you to come in a suit. I said, yes, sir. So that's what I did. I was there 6:45. I remember one time he schooled me. He didn't yell or nothing like that. He just schooled me on why it was important to show up for your auditions and not to, because I was late for an audition. I thought it was cool and I was in that little rebellious phase and stuff like that. And he says, oh, no. Those who went before us didn't have that opportunity like that. You were going through the back of the theater. You just educated me on all that. I'm like, wow. I said, you're right. And I've never been late for another audition. And I'm definitely not late for my call times. I'm early. I'm so early. Oh my gosh. People complain about how early I show up. I'm early. And then of course, my time in the military, I served in 3 branches, the Navy, Army, and Air Force. So yeah, time and doing what I need to do and getting the mission done, not an issue. So, but man, I got to put him back up here, man. This is, man. So Mr. Mayo, he, here, let me bring it like this. Oh man. Shout out to Miss Angela Gibbs too. Shout out to Miss Angela Gibbs. Yeah. That was cool, man. This is so, man. Oh man. So I came in that Thursday, and then Mr. Carl Franklin showed up, and I was there and I met him and we talked. And when we talked, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I look back now and it was just interesting to me. I look back now and I'm just like, this is why I don't, you know, when it comes to acting and different things like that, I just understand this one thing. Yeah, I got to do my thing and what I got to do, put my work in it. Faith without works is dead. But I understand. I've done other movies and stuff like that since One False Move. But I understood this one thing, man. God is a lot smarter than me, and He's very strategic. And I mean, I mean, the Lord Jesus knows what he's doing. And it just, I look back at it and it overwhelms me sometimes because I was a fan of Sanford and Son. And I watched all of Sanford growing up all through high school, middle school, high school, everything. I watched Sanford and Son. There was no inclination that I was going to meet. There was no hint that I was going to meet Mr. Whitman Mayo, and that Mr. Whitman Mayo was going to be the one to introduce me to John Singleton and to introduce me to Carl Franklin. And both films are iconic. And then the other people that from that school, that I think Morris Chestnut was going to that school too, and some other actors and actresses were at that school, and their careers are made. Look at what they're doing. They've been doing very good, and it's just, and man, and all the other people I saw that are now celebrities and stuff there, and I would see them on a daily basis and everything, and it was just because I used to sit at the front. And I would answer. I was like the secretary. I would answer the phones, and I'd be there at the door. And Mr. Whitman's office was behind me, and there was a door right there to the left. And I had to show you guys that picture. And there was a door right there to the left. So people would always come in, and they'd be celebrities I grew up watching. And they say, they go, "Hey, is Whitman in?" And say, "Hey, Mr. Mayo in?" I remember one time Haywood Nelson came in from What's Happening. And when he came to the door, I was like, hey. Oh, man. He said, "Hey, man." I said, "Oh, my gosh, what's up, man?" I said, "You here to see Mr. Mayo?" He said, "Yeah." He said, and I looked, I let him know. He's like, "Yeah, send him back." He said, "Yeah, come on back." And every day I went to work, man, every single day. I mean, I encountered mostly all of Black Hollywood. I mean, anybody that's everybody. I mean, I'm telling you. And the one special day, the one that really got me, and I was starstruck. I got starstruck on this one. Really was when I'm sitting there at the desk. I think it was a Friday. I'm sitting there at the desk, and the door is open, and I'm just excited, like, who's gonna come through there today? And man, I looked up. It was LaWanda Page. Aunt Esther. I was like, yo, I was like, and she looked at me and she goes, "It's gonna be all right, baby." I'm like, I was like, "It's gonna be all right." I'm like, and she goes, "Whitman in?" I'm like, oh man, she was really cool. I was blown away. That was a time. Man, that was a time and experience. I'm glad I was able to be a part of that. That was oh my goodness, man. Shout out to everybody there. Shay Wafer, Norma, oh my gosh, Nija. I mean, everybody that was, in case you guys see this video, it was just, oh my goodness, man. It was so great. And then they'd have guest speakers come in there. I remember they had Bill Duke came in, talk to us and everything. And I was just like, man. Anna Marie Horsford, she was there. Hartsford, she was there. I mean, they came in, and I remember I met Sherman Hemsley came through, and oh my goodness, man. Vanessa Bell Calloway, she was in what was that? Ali, man. Eddie Murphy, Coming to America. The one that stood on one foot. Woo, woo, woo. She was there. I mean, it was a great time, guys. It was a great time. So now you guys understand how this all happened for me, and with One False Move was because of this man right here, Mr. Whitman Mayo. He was the one that introduced me to Mr. Carl Franklin. He was the one. So, oh man, So from there, and I was sitting there, and what dawned on me was the fact is that I look at it back at it now, and I'm sitting there in Texas, wanting to be an actor. I'm like, yeah, one day I'm gonna be an actor. And I'm looking at two actors that would be that would be used to help me to accomplish that dream. And I had no idea. God knew. That's what I'm saying, guys. You're really not in control like you think you are. And God's gonna do some things. He's gonna bless you. And you will see what I'm talking about, and you're gonna look back on it. You're gonna be like, wait a minute. How in the world wait a minute, look up, man. Man, I'm still floored by that. So Sanford and Son and the A-Team. There I am. I was just, and then in 227, let's not forget 227 the Jeffersons, and her office was upstairs, and it was just like, oh man, my goodness. And they were and I was so naive and wet behind the ears and everything, and they were so cool to me. They were just very, very cool, man. It was just a cool time. It was a cool time. So I'm sitting there, I'm having a conversation with Mr. Carl Franklin, and we're having this conversation, and he's letting me know about the film. You know, he just came out of AFI, and it was called Hurricane. It was called Hurricane at the time. So he's letting me know all about it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, where's the part when you ask me, do I want to, you know, let's get to the part where you ask me, yeah, you know, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Let's go. So, but I'm listening to it, and I'm like, okay, and what he's looking for, and the vision he was talking about, that scene and everything. And then he said, would you like to be a part of it? I was like, would you like to work on the film? I said, yes. And of course, guys, I had to audition. It wasn't set in stone because I was like, yeah, I would like to, you know, at least go audition. And yes. So it took me 2 weeks because I didn't have a car at the time. So it took me 2 weeks to at least get to the audition. And then when I got to the audition, this was interesting. So when I get to the audition, IRS Media was in this building. And here's another thing. I was a fan of the Police. I was a fan of the music group, The Police. Guess who owns IRS Media? The guitar player from The Police. Not Sting, the other guy. You had the drummer, the guitar player, and you had Sting who played the bass. The one that owned the guitar, you had the guitar player. Hold on, let me make sure I get his name right. Hold up. Hold on, let me see. IRS Media. Yeah, IRS Media Films. Yeah, man. Yep. And what is his name? Hold on. What was his name? Here we go. Yeah, Miles Copeland. Mr. Miles Copeland. Yep. Yeah, Mr. Miles Copeland. Yep. So it's Miles Copeland, Stuart Copeland, and then Sting. So yeah. So that's who. Yeah. So that's who owned IRS Media. So we have Sanford and Son, the A-Team, and the Police. And I grew up listening to the Police when I was at elementary school. My buddies would always talk about it and stuff. And I started listening to them. Grew up listening to the Plea, and then watching the A Team, and then watching Sanford and Son, the A Team, and yeah, it's just very interesting to me. Some people are like, it's interesting to me. So it may not be interesting to you, but I think it's interesting to me how all these things connect, and you had no idea that years later that they were helping to get you to where you needed to be at that certain time. So, and I'm interested to know how God is working in your life. And I'd love to see in the comment section if you guys had experiences like that yourself. And it just blows your mind. You have to sit back and like, yo, I don't even know how this is amazing how he made this happen. And wow, and it's one of those where you couldn't think of it yourself. There's no way in the world you could just do that all yourself. There's no way. So as I'm talking to Mr. Franklin, and I'm talking to Carl, he's very down to earth, guys. He's very cool. As I'm talking to him, I'm just like, oh man, he's asked me that. So I go to the audition. It's off of Lancashire. The building's off of Lancashire. So I go inside, and when I go inside, first person I see is Billy Bob Thornton at the desk. He's really funny, man. So him and the receptionist, they were cracking up. And I come in, I sign in and everything. He says, how you doing? I said, hey, how you doing, man? And I looked at him and I was like, yo. I said, hey, man, you play Buck on The Outsiders. You play Buck. He's like, yeah. I said, man, that's a cool show. He said, okay, cool. We shook hands and everything. I said, well, can I get your autograph? He said, sure. So I had a little sticky note. I still have it somewhere. I think my mom kept it. So I got my autograph from Billy Bob Thornton. So my mama has that, I believe. So he signed it and everything. We talked for a little bit. And then he says, you here to audition? I said, yes, I am. He said, what part? I said, I'm here to audition for Bobby. He said, oh, yeah, that's a good role. So I was there to audition for Bobby. I wasn't there. I didn't audition for Darren. I auditioned for Bobby. So watch this. So I was like, okay, cool. And he says, hey, look, I'll be back. So he went to the back, and I went and sat down, and I'm going over my lines and everything, just making sure I got everything right. And I happened to look up, and about this time, now this is like 1990, guys. About this time, I look outside, and what do I see? I see some of the cast members from Head of the Class, and they're in a Porsche, a silver Porsche, and they're out there. And I remember I saw Rain Pryor. She was in the car, the blonde head girl, and I think the heavyset guy I can't remember his name. He was driving, I believe it was. And they were headed right there, and there was a light right there. And then I was like, I'm sitting there like, oh, this is crazy. All the shows I watched, I'm meeting these people now, and I'm around them, I'm seeing them, and I'm just like, this is, I'm like, wow. And so Billy Bob comes back out. And when he comes back out, he says, hey, man, good luck on your audition and everything. And he says, hey, there's about 1,200 guys going for the same role. I was like, well, let's see what happens. He said, yeah, let's see. And he said, well, good meeting you. I said, yeah, good meeting you too, sir. And he left, and then it was my turn to go back. And when I went back to meet Carl again, I said, hey, how you doing, sir? He said, hey, Derek, come on in. And some of you may think that, when you go on auditions, it's the office, and it's usually nice, and there are a lot of wards up and everything else. Well, they were renovating at this time. So when I walked in, I'm seeing a tarp full of like paint on it and stuff, and an extension cord, an orange extension cord, all over the place. And I'm maneuvering over there, and there were 2 milk crates. Carl says, hey, we're doing some renovation here, so sorry, man. I said, oh, that's okay. And Carl pulled up one of the milk crates. I think one was blue and one was red. Carl pulled up a milk crate, and I pulled up the other milk crate. And that's how we had the audition. I'm not kidding. You can ask Carl himself. That's how I had my audition with him. I don't know if anybody else had that same audition during that time, but for my audition, we were sitting on milk crates, and we went through the audition, and it was cool. Now, at that time, I wasn't cussing or anything like that. I was new in my walk in Christ. So I was on fire. Love the Lord, love Jesus. I was on fire, man. I still am. But I just had some maturing over time and stuff like that, understanding that, God knows that if you cuss on the roll, that's not you, he knows all that. Okay. Depends on what there's some thing. I'm just no. And I know he's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, amen. So, but when I was reading for Bobby, I skipped over the cuss words. I skipped over him. He says, I take it you don't cuss. I said, no, I don't, sir. And he says, I respect that. I can respect that. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, it's okay. If I don't get it, that's okay. I'm standing up for I'm standing up for my faith and what I believe in. And I don't want to do all that. And, but years later, yeah, I've done that. But, and I'm backing way back from that too. So he was like, okay, I respect that. So, we just read again and everything. And then next thing, we ended the audition, and I left, and I was like, okay, cool. And I was happy for the opportunity to audition. So, movie called Hurricane. Didn't know what was going to happen. I got to meet Billy Bob Thornton, Buck on TV. So I was excited, and I got to, and it still didn't dawn on me that Carl was it still didn't dawn on me that he was Captain Crane from the A-Team, and I love the A-Team. It just didn't dawn on me that this is who this was. I was like, it did not dawn on me for whatever reason. Didn't come to my mind. So, so I went home, and I was living at my uncle's girlfriend's house at the time. And so a couple weeks went by, and I remember we all went out to the movies, and I watched Mo Better Blues. And like all us young men, when we saw Cindy, we were like, oh, we were in love. We're like, oh my goodness, that's a beautiful woman. Oh, she's so talented too. Like, oh my gosh. So I used to tell my aunt, see, yeah, that's my woman right there. That's gonna be my woman right there. Yeah. And I was like, I'm 19. What do I know? No, we just talk. We just, guys as kids, you know how it is. We just talk, right? So next thing I know, I get a call 2 weeks after watching Mo Better Blues. A call comes in, picked up the phone. I was the only one there at the apartment, and it was from Wardrobe. I think it was Ron Lehman, I believe it was. Called me from Wardrobe, says, man, speak to Derek. I said, hey, speaking. He says, Derek, I just want to congratulate you for getting the role of Darren for One False Move. And I was like, I'm sorry, for Hurricane. I was like, Hurricane? I was like, what? He said, yeah, you got the role of Darren for the movie Hurricane, and I need you to come in so we can get your sizes and everything else for your wardrobe. I was like, oh, man, really? He's like, yeah. I said, okay. And we scheduled an appointment and everything. And then I hung up the phone. I started jumping around, praising God. I was just, oh man, I cried. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the movie. I'm in the movie. I called my mom to let her know. And then my aunt came, and my cousin's girlfriend came. I gave her a hug and said, look, I got this. I got a movie. And prior to that, I was going for my second callback for the show Amen. I was auditioning for the role of Clarence for the show Amen. And I wanted that. I wanted to be on TV. And I didn't get that. Bumper Robinson got it. He's a great actor, man. Bumper was killing it, man. I believe hopefully he's still out there acting. He's a great actor. Bumper Robinson's a great actor. And so I ended up I got that. So I got so I was like, Darren. I said, who's Darren? I didn't remember reading for Darren. And I wrote, I read for Bobby. So, but I guess they added that role in there, and there I am. I was like, okay. So, I auditioned for Bobby. It wasn't no Darren. I auditioned for Bobby. Bobby was still in there, so Darren was obviously at it. So it was cool, man. And then I went to I went to my appointment for wardrobe. Then when I went there, ran into the guy, I saw this beautiful woman walk out. I was like, man, she's gorgeous. Light skin, freckles. I was like, wow. And I just saw her real quick. She had on a red dress, and it was like, wow. And they were like, so what role are you playing? I said, I'm playing Darren. And the dudes were like, you're playing Darren? I said, yeah. They said, ooh, you're lucky, man. I said, lucky about what? I said, did you see your girlfriend walk on the way out? I was like, my girlfriend? He said, yeah, she's playing Danielle, your girlfriend in the movie. I was like, word? And it was June Jones. It was June. June, where are you? June. I've been looking for you for where are you? I hope she's doing good. June was really cool, man. June was really cool. Yeah, nobody was harassing June or anything. It was none of that, guys. So I was like, okay. And I was like, okay. I said, I didn't know I had a girlfriend in the movie. What's going on? I said, okay. So I was like, all right. So and then it comes to find out that one night we went back to Crossroads, so it was kind of announced that there were a lot of us getting roles in work in the industry, and it was myself, June, Phyllis, Lauren, and then there's some other people doing some other stuff on TV and everything that came from the same school. So we all took pictures together. There was an event that was going on that night, and we took pictures together. I think it was when Bill Duke was speaking, and director Bill Duke, and we took pictures that night. And that's when I've realized that, oh, June, you go to Crossroads too. Okay, so you're in Hurricane too. So like, okay, yeah. I said, oh, so you're playing my girlfriend? It's like, yeah. I was like, all right, cool. I was what, 19. June was in her 20s, and she was really cool. And then there was this other chick. I was like, man, I need she was like, because I didn't know how I was going to get up there. I was trying to orchestrate how I was going to get, go up there to the set. And June says, hey, if you need a ride, I'll pick you up and we'll go. I said, are you serious? She said, yeah. So both days I rode with June. She was really cool. She was really cool, man. I'm like, yeah, man, people really looked out for each other in the 90s back then. And, and I should say, Black folk were looking out for each other back then in the 90s. It was, man, it wasn't this, I'm trying to, well, you're on your own. No, she was really cool. So those 2 days, she took me to the set. We went up there and we did our thing. And I remember when I first got up to the set. And when I first got up to the set, they were shooting the scene where Cole and McFeely were going into the house. In the scene, I don't want to give it away. They were going into the house. You guys know, if you've seen the movie, the morning of, I'm going to say that, the morning of, they were going in the house. Boom, right? And so they yelled cut and everything else. And then so we were able to come on the set. And as I was walking on the set, here comes Billy Bob. He's dressed up like Ray Malcolm and everything. And he comes up and I said, hey, man, looks like I made it. He says, I know. I said, what do you mean? And he goes, you remember that day at the audition? Now, mind you, this has been a while since the audition. Because remember, it took me 2 weeks before I had the audition. And then it took a couple weeks after. So it's been like a month or so. And he still remembered that. He's like, you remember when you were at the audition? I said, yeah. He said, remember when I went in the back? I said, yeah. And he says, well, when I went to the back, I told the director, I said, he talked to Carl and he says, hey, hire this next kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. I was sat there, I was like, wow. And he walked over to, he said, so yeah. And I was like, and he walked over to the craft services. I was standing there like, staring into space like, wow, Lord. And, it was always taught to me, your attitude is going to determine your altitude. You never know who's watching. And you just, and in this industry, you just watch how you treat people. So ultimately, of course, ultimately it was up to the casting director, and the casting director was named Don Pemrick. Don Pemrick. So thank you, Don. I appreciate you, Don. Yeah, Don got mad at me when I told him that story and everything. He said, "No, I'm the casting director. I'm the one that." Oh, I said, "Okay, Don." So I'm the producer now, Don, and I do casting myself now, so I can talk. I'm gonna tell my side of the story of it, but also, Don, I'm gonna give credit to you too, Don. So thank you, Don. So yeah, so I appreciated that, man. It was really cool, man. It was one of those things. It's like every day was like just a blessing, man. So and I get to my trailer, I get to my so as I get to the honey wagon, and I'm sharing it, and I said, Jay Bridges, who's Jay Bridges? So Jim Bridges. And Jim's been acting for a while. So Jim was he comes by, he's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the set." I said, "Hey, thank you, man." And I'm just like, I'm lost in I'm like kind of just, it's so surreal, dude. It's just like you go from dreaming about it, and then when it actually happens, and it's just, yeah, it was, man, I tell you what, I was on cloud nine both of those days, man. And when those days were over, oh my gosh, you want to talk about a sadness and a depression kind of coming over you. You're like, no, I gotta go back to the world. No. But it was so good to just be on set, man. And so I went in there, you had your contract and everything, and then I just dropped down and prayed and thank God for me being there. Thank the Lord. I was just thanking the Lord for me being there. And I was like, Lord, thank you for this. And man, just bless me to do a good job. And the next thing I know, I got a knock at the door, and I opened the door, and it was one of the ADs, and he says, "Hey, welcome, and you know, I'm such and such, and is there anything you need from? Is there anything you need? We got craft services and breakfast." Or I said, "Actually, I would like a donut and some orange juice." He goes, "You want donut and orange juice?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I'll be right back." And I said, "Okay, thank you." And he, you know, I'm just thinking, you know, he's gonna come back, donut and orange juice, right? He comes back, open the door. He comes back. It's a tray full of assorted donuts, like stacked. And he's holding it. He gives me the orange juice, and he's holding it. He's like, "Here you go." And I was like, "I only need one." He says, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yeah, I just got the plain one. I just wanted the plain one." But man, there was jelly donut, chocolate donuts, some other donuts I had never seen before. I'm like, "What is that? What kind of donut?" That's all I want. It just like I was like, man, I'm like, dude, I'm just here for a couple of days. I'm not expecting somebody to come serve me. I'm like, yo, I'm like, wow, okay. So I didn't let that get, you know, I'm like, I was like, it was cool though. But I can see why some people would let stuff like that kind of get to their head if they used to that all the time and everything. I'm just like, no, it was cool though. But I was like, wow, man, this is crazy. So Jim came back by, and he says, "Hey, Derek, let's go on to let me take you over to makeup." So he went over to makeup, and when we went over to makeup, right now, remember, I hadn't, you know, the thing about being on set when you get cast in the film, and you really don't know who else is you don't know who else is going to be there. Didn't know who else was there. So when we go into makeup, sitting there, and then next thing I know, Jim is like, "Hey, this is such and such, this is such and such," and I'm meeting these people, hi, and somebody was blocking her, and then it was just like a movie, and he said, "Oh yeah, but Derek, by the way, this is Cinda," and this person moved out the way, and there was Cinda Williams. I had just watched Mo Better Blues like a couple weeks ago. And I was saying, "Yeah, that's my woman. I'm like," and she goes, "Hi." She goes, "I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for you." And because it wasn't just me, June was there too. and Phyllis. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry what we do to you guys. I'm so sorry. When you see the movie, you'll see what she was talking about. So, and she was just, man, Cinda was so nice. She was so nice, guys. Oh man, she is such a cool person. And she's like a big sister. I remember when I was in Iraq and I was just I was like missing home. And when I ended up going to MWR one day, I just wanted to kind of reconnect back to who I was and what was going on and everything. And then and I got on Facebook and I saw Cinda on there, and I was like, man, she's a big star. She's not gonna have nothing, I don't even know if she remembers me from Hurricane or One False Moves. And I reached out to her, say, how you doing? Everything. And next thing you know, she messaged me back, hey, how are you? Are you safe? You doing good? And I told her what was going on. We chatted, and we've been cool there. I've been cool ever since. I mean, it's just she's really cool, really cool. I was like, wow, and I really needed that. I never forgot that. I never forgot that, and I was just that experience there. Man, it's how my sets are going to be. It's how my sets are going to be because I remember what it was like. And everybody there, of course, were pros, had way more experience than I did. She just got through working with Spike Lee and Denzel Washington and Wesley Snipes and all them. And then next thing you know, we run into Michael Beach. And me and Jim were like, oh, Michael Beach? Are you serious? Went up to him because he just did a movie called Internal Affairs with Richard Gere. And he's been in all kinds of movies. I was like, I'm sitting there, man. And I remember, I was like, man, this is cool. This is cool. And I said, hey, man, I got to go. I left something in the trailer. I got to go. I'll be right back. So I went back in the trailer, man. And I went in there and I was I was shaking. I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, my goodness, man. Jim's done stuff. Everybody else has done stuff, but I was the new guy. I hadn't done anything. Even June had done Bold and the Beautiful and stuff. This is my first movie. So I was intimidated, man. So I went there and I went back and prayed, man. I was like, Lord. Whoo. And then on top of it, we found out that we had a dancing scene. We had a dancing scene. I'm like, dude, I did not like dancing. I was always in music videos. Man, I did not like it. When I had an agent, they always put me in music videos. I was like, golly. So, so I'm thinking I'm getting away from the dancing, but well enough, here we are. And so so when I came back, there was like, hey, we got a dancing scene. We need somebody to pick the music. And I said, you know what? I said, I'll pick a song. And the song I picked, so the song that we were listening to on the set was actually Soul to Soul, Back to Life. I said, why not this one? And they said, pick that shit. Like, yeah. And they're like, yeah. So we played 10 seconds of it. And then we danced, and then they cut. And then we were dancing, you weren't hearing the song, and we're doing our dialogue and everything else. So, yeah. So when you see everybody dancing to that music, and then notice that the music at the party scene at the beginning, I want you to notice it sounds like Soul to Soul. Not the way of love. Dun, 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 dun. So listen to Back to Life and then listen to that. So because we couldn't use Back to Life because the royalties and all that other stuff, so we couldn't use it. But yeah, but the song that we were using on set for 10 seconds, listen to it, was Back to Life, and they just played it too. Everybody was jamming, and when they were setting up and everything, it was cool, man. It was a fun set, guys. It was a fun set. So Paul, this is that video, man. So Paul asked me a question. let me bring this up. Paul asked me a question here. Let's see. Let me go over here. Let me go over here to my. Let me go to my channel real quick. So Paul asked me a question, and let me get to Paul's question here. Show you guys. So I hope you guys are liking this, and those of you that are fans of One False Move, and you guys are enjoying this. And I'm just letting you know what my experience. My experience was fantastic, man. It was a good time. So let me show you the question that Paul asked, and let me bring this up here. So Paul asks right here. He says, "Hey, Derek, unrelated question. Hope you don't mind me asking. The movie One False Move, which you and a lady, June Jones, were in, the scenes you both shared were extreme and brutal. Both doing a great job. Can I ask, as it must have been harrowing to do, how the director Carl Franklin helped you guys to relax and feel comfortable while being on set?" Let me say this. Thanks for asking that question, Paul Dorman, 1355. I'll say this. Let me go through some pictures real quick. Let me bring this up real quick, guys. So what was it like working with Carl Franklin? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Let me show you. That's what it was like working with Carl Franklin. Cool, man. This man knows his stuff. And then, and he was very approachable, very cool. And man, I was watching him. I'm trying to act, but I'm watching him and how he's doing things, because ultimately that's what I want to do, is direct. So it was great being under his direction, but it was even greater that when the camera wasn't on me, I was able to sit there and I was able to watch, and just how the scenes were shot and how he directed. Oh man, it was fantastic. And being able to see John do that too, John Singleton do that too, when I was on the set of Boys in the Hood, it was rewarding, man. I just, guys, so you know what? If you're an actor, let me say this. I know you guys want to act, and if you're out there paying your dues, doing extra work, I know you want to do that, but there may come a time when you want to direct your own movies. So instead of just feeling all some type of way because you're not in front of the camera right then, man, sit back and pay attention to what's going on the set. Who's doing what? How's the director doing that shot? Listen to what they're saying. How's the cinematographer setting that up? Look at all of that. Because one day it may be you at the helm, and you already got a first-class masterclass from being there, and you're getting paid and to learn, because there are a lot of people that would love to be in your position when you're on set. I don't care if you're the extra, you're the cook, whatever. There's somebody else that would love to be in your position. So don't get over there complaining. I didn't. I loved every minute. Even with the few lines I had, I loved every minute. I gave it my best. I loved every minute. And Carl was great, man. He was awesome. He was awesome. So, but for that scene, Paul, the whole thing about it, what was comfortable was how the atmosphere of the set was already set from day one. Everybody was chill, and everybody came in to do their job, and that's very important. So it wasn't just, what do you do specifically to help us relax in that? It was more of like the atmosphere and the whole thing of the set created where you were free to be, to be the character to where you could create and do what you needed to do. And so we came in prepared, and he just told us and explained to us what was needed. And I remember one day he told us, he says, "Hey, it's going to be a long day. We're going to be here for 14 hours because this was shot on film, and we had to do, I guess it was 14 different angles or whatnot. But we had to do a lot of angles for that one scene, and we are going to be there long, so we got overtime and everything, and it was cool. And we just went after it, man. Carl, it was almost like he just talked to us, and and he just has a way of just, he makes you want to do your best for him, and he just had a way of just really pulling everybody together as a team, and then we just did it. And then one thing I did like, because those of us that were from theater, we don't have the live audience right there, but and then Carl was saying after a certain scene, or he was on one of the scenes, he was like, look at my arm, and he had goosebumps. He had goosebumps right there, and we were like, yo, that's the closest like to a live audience. The director has a goosebumps on his arm from that scene. We're like, oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do another take. Let's bring it some more. Let's do it. And it worked, because then when the movie was released, and you got newspaper articles and stuff saying, hey, if you can make it past the first 15 minutes of One False Move, then you can make it to the rest of the film, meaning that people were walking out because that scene was just horrific to them. Psychologically, they just couldn't handle that scene, and they would walk out the theater. They're like, that was too much. And it was just, yeah. So that was a rough scene, and it wasn't gory. It was more psychological. And those of you guys, those of you that are fans of the movie, you already know that was a rough scene, but it was cool to shoot it. And and being hogtied on the floor, and I was fighting dust in my eyes. So those grunts you hear about from me, oh, those are real. Those are real, man. That dust on that floor got in my eyes, man. I was like, yo. But it was cool. So, Paul, I hope that answers your question, man. So there was like, we just all knew what was expected of us, and then I'm gonna tell you something else, Paul. Here's the thing too. It wasn't just Carl that set that atmosphere, but let me tell you something. If you have never acted with Billy Bob Thornton and Michael Beach before, and Cinda, and the other, oh man, when Billy Bob Thornton comes in that door, when he comes in that door, when you guys see the movie, you know what I'm talking about. When Billy Bob comes in that door, bro, it's on. And then Michael Beach comes in that, I mean, their energy, it just, you couldn't help but to just, their energy and their performance brought the performance out of you. So that's why it's always good. You got to make sure that when you're casting actors, your leads and everything, you got to make sure you do, whatever you need to pay them, you pay them. Yes, you need to. Yeah, you need to. Don't be going skimp on, your act. Yeah, pay your actors, pay your people. And they were, man, Billy's intensity, man. Man, then look, you guys seen him in, was it 1883? And when he played that sheriff in there, I'm like, yo, I was like, yo, man, Billy's intensity, man, on these characters and stuff, man. Whoo. And then you guys seen him on Landman, and it's just like, yo, man. I mean, and when he played Ray Malcolm, man, he was raw, dude. Like, what? Oh, man, and Jim was great, man. Jim's energy was great too, man. So it was just the other actors around you, Paul, that brought their energy, and they were on their game and everything. It helps you. So it's not just the director, but also the actors you're working with to help make it comfortable for that scene and everything, and for it to come across the way it did. So you're looking at it like, man, that must have been, oh man, that must have been, no, not when you got the people that that you're around and the caliber that's around you, you had no choice but to step up. You had no choice but to bring what you needed to bring, and that's all I can tell you on that, man. So I hope that answers your question, Paul. So, but here we go. Here's a treat for you guys. Let's go through some pictures. This is on my IMDb. So if you go to One False Move and go down to here, let me go back. Let's go back real quick. So if you go to One False Move here, let me show you guys. Let me see. On IMDb, if you go to it on IMDb, this bad boy is going slow. All right, here we go. So you just go to it on IMDb, click on there. Oh, I didn't even know there's a TV series. Click on it, and then, all right, here we are. And you scroll down, go to Top Cast, and then there's Jim, and here I am right here. Derek Williams. You come here. And then you go right here to photos. And guys, these are the photos that I took. Or these are done with my camera. Or I should say, my aunt's camera. Hold on a second. Hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to answer this phone here. So, yeah, these are the photos that I took with my camera. And here, let me show you guys real quick. Because my cousin's girlfriend said, "Hey, why don't you take some pictures on the set?" And it was one of those 110 cameras. Excuse me. You know those 110 cameras? There were those thin black ones, had a little flash on it. So why don't you take that? Borrow my camera. I said, okay, cool. Bought some film for it. And thank God I did this. This is film, guys. I took this. This is on film. This is not digital. I scanned it, but this is film. So that's Jim. And this is the owner of the house. And his son, his grandson, he's the grandfather of one of the members of the rock group Rat. I think the drummer. So he was a really cool guy. So here I am, 19, and I just finished Boys in the Hood, so you can see my hair and everything else. So, okay, there's Michael Beach, myself, and then there's Billy Bob right here, and then there's Carl in the shirt, and that's Tony Toe next to him. You can barely see him. And there's me and Carl. All right. Me and Jim. All right. There's Jim. All right. There's Billy Bob and Jim. All right. There's Cinda and Phyllis. So we were having a good time. Here's Phyllis and Billy Bob. So it's kind of weird. So you guys are seeing these pictures because you've seen the movie and you're like, oh man. And now you're looking like, oh man, everybody was cool. Yeah, everybody was good. And don't worry, nothing's coming through this. This thing was actually welded. There's in that barrel, it was like, there's nothing but metal in that barrel. It's just welded. Nothing's going through that. So shout out to the prop master. Oh, this is me and Billy Bob. He did a movie called in 2012. I met up with him in 2012 for his premiere of Jane Mansfield's Car. He came to Fort Worth, and I was actually working the event as a photographer. And I got a chance to talk to him and everything. He was cool, man. He remembered. It was cool. It's me and Michael Beach. Me and Cinda. Me and Phyllis right there. And this was shot in East LA. And yep, there's me and Billy Bob right there. So you know what? If I happen to be in another movie or something like that with them, I'm gonna, you know how they do those things. And I'm just a kid. And I'm gonna see if we can recreate this picture. So that would be cool. That would be cool. Oh, that was me when I was in the Army. That's me there. And yeah, there you go. And here we go. And let me show you guys. Let me show you guys this. So there's some pictures I haven't scanned yet. There's some pictures I haven't scanned yet. I'm gonna show you right now. So there's some more pictures from the set of One False Move. I told you guys I was gonna give you guys a treat. So all right, so this one is it's one of the police officers that was there. He's a brother in Christ. That was him in his Bible right there. Yeah. So yeah, we sit there and we talked about the Lord and everything, and he was really cool. The LAPD was really cool on the set. So here's Jim. There's Jim right there. Bobby. So you already saw the one with me and Cinda. Here's one. And you see Billy Bob right there and Cinda right there sitting in the chairs. And yeah, it was a good time. Small set, and it was a good time. Here is Miss Phyllis in the makeup chair. Yep. Makeup artist. She was really nice. Yeah, everybody's really cool, man. Everybody was nice. Here is June Jones. June, where are you, June? June, if you see this, please reach out to me. Please, I would love to talk to you, June, see how you've been doing. Oh, man, I miss June Jones. She was so cool. So that's her. And June was out there racing people in heels and beating them. I don't know if you guys know this, but June was a track star back in the day. Yeah, I was like, I'm sitting in the chairs and stuff, and we're like, here comes a race, and it was like, here goes June running. I'm like, yo. She was cool, man. Oh yeah, this was the stunt coordinator. He was cool. And guys, he also was the stunt double or the stunt man for Brandon Lee and for Lou Diamond Phillips for Young Guns. So yeah. So he was a stunt coordinator on there. He taught me how to fall and all that. And when Michael Peach pushes me down, guys, when we did it at first, I didn't have on no knee pads. And I was like, ooh. And he said, oh, okay, let me get some knee pads. I was like, yeah. He offered him at first, but I said, nah, man, I got it. Michael pushed me down. Boom. I was like, ooh, give me them pads, bro. Give me the knee pads. So yeah. So here's that picture again, guys. This is one of my favorite pictures right there. I like that picture. I like that. That was a cool picture, man. We're having a good time. I don't know if you guys can see this one, but here we go. And there's June here on, yeah, there she is right there. We're there with the cops there that were there. They were really cool. I think his name is Eric. He was really cool, man. I think it was Second AD or something. He was really cool. Like I said, guys, I shot these on film. So yeah, so here's that picture of me and Billy Bob right there. Okay, let me, because my camera here. So you guys see that. All right. Then me and Carl. And this police officer here, he was cool. I think these guys are retired now, so. And there's the producer, Miss Jessie Beaton. Miss Jessie Beaton, she was really cool. So that's the producer, One False Move, Miss Jessie Beaton. And that's Jim. And then got June. And then Miss Phyllis. Miss Phyllis Sutton, yep. She was cool. I saw her a little short time after. I think she I remember her telling me she was going back. I think she's from Atlanta. So she went back. She wasn't interested in acting anymore after that, but she had a great time. She did really well. She did really well. I mean, it's not for everybody, you know. So, but yeah, she did really well. And this is, hold up, there we go. This is June and Jim right there. There we go. Here's Billy's chair. Yeah, I was taking pictures of everything, huh? I think his name is Jeff. I was taking pictures of everything. And then here's an interesting picture here. This is an interesting picture. So you guys see the guy. So this is when we first arrived to the set. So you guys see the guy right there in the jacket. The white guy right there, right? So when I went to film school, that's Michael Caine. His name is Michael Caine. He was the location scout. And when I went to film school, he came and talked to our class because he's like one of the heads over there at the Dallas International Film Festival. And he started talking about One False Move and a great movie. And I'm sitting there like, saying, hey, man, wait a minute. I said, wait, I know you. I said, what did you do on there? Location scout? He said, yes. I said, I was in One False Move. We met. And I said that I brought the picture to class. And he says, oh my gosh. He's like, we sure did. Yep. So guys, you just never know. You never know. Now he's big and in charge of Dallas International Film Festival and stuff over there. So yeah, you just never know. So here's June and Jim again. Honey Wagon. I was taking pictures of everything, guys. I was so happy to be in that movie. Here's this guy right here. I don't know his name, but yeah, he was cool. And there's me and Cinda right there. I took so many pictures with her. I was like, man, I hope she doesn't get mad. But yeah, she was really gracious. She was really cool. And this is one of our that guy was a stand-in. So we each had a he was the stand-in. So he was really cool. And then here's Jim right here. And here are the stand-ins. These are the stand-ins right here, guys. So there you go. They were really cool, man. Here's a picture of the house. So when you guys watch the movie, you're like, okay. Remember the fence and the gate around there? I was thinking about going up there and just I was gonna go up there and just look and see what the house looks like now, if it's still there. I'm thinking about doing that. So James Carter, cinematographer, I believe. Yeah. Yep. Billy Bob. Me again with Cinda. Hey man, I was a fan, man. Said it was cool. I was like, yo, I'm making sure that one of these exposures gets I didn't know if it was gonna get it or not. And then there's me and Miss Jessie Beaton. And she's really, we had a good time. So you could tell I was all happy. I was all geeky and everything, And then me right here. Yep. Yeah. And everybody liked my shoes. Man, the shoes I had for One False Move, guys. Oh, I tried to keep those shoes, man. I couldn't keep the shoes, guys. Those shoes were nice. It had some kind of nice design on them. They were slip-ons. And I got to wear them I didn't have to have any socks on. And they were just, look, I was Don Johnson, man. I was Miami Vicing with those shoes. And I was Miami Vicing with the shoes, man. And those pants back in the day, man. I wanted them shoes. I couldn't keep the shoes. There I am. Yeah, we were rapping. So I took a picture in the middle of the street, and I was trying to get all the lights in the background. But look at the shoes. Look right there. Look at that. Man, look at them shoes, man. Man, them shoes were tough, man. Those shoes were tough. And they didn't curl up like some tracks. You didn't have to know. It was straight around. It was Don Johnson, Miami Vice, man. I'm telling you, I was Don Johnson. I was like, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. Oh, look, you're gonna look there it is. Look at the shoes. Look, he has some slip-ons too. Yeah, we were styling on them shoes, man. Look at that. Look. Yeah, man. The shoes, man. The shoes. Make sure your character got some cool shoes, man. I'm telling you. It's Mr. Carl. Yep. Concentrating there. We go with Jim. And then here is Michael Beach and June sitting in the background. And here we go. Beach and Phyllis. So yeah, everybody was cool on set, man. Here's Jim. Jim. Some other pictures here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, everybody was cool on set, man. And here's Lauren. You guys remember Lauren? Yep. So there we go. Crossroads. Lauren Taylor. Where are you at, Lauren? Man, he was a cool guy, man. Cool guy. Here we go. Yeah, so it was fun, though. We had a lot of fun. It was cool. Jim over there singing and stuff. And then here's June. Yep. So there we go. It was a good time, guys. It was a good time being on that set. And there's Phyllis. And then we have here, the security guard, the police officer there. He was cool, man. He was cool. Then here we go. There's Jim, Billy, and Phyllis. So there we go. Yeah, it was cool, man. Then you guys seen this one, right? Y'all seen that one. So yeah. Oh, and check out this one right here. Check out this cell phone. He was cool too. Look at the cell phone, guys, back in the day. That was the cell phone. Look at that history, man. Me and the first AD. Now, he's the head over there at LA Film School. He teaches over there at LA Film School now. So he's a really cool guy. Of course, you guys seen this one. Me and Jim. Yeah. The shoes, guys, the shoes. So I got some double prints here. Let me see. You guys seen this one? I don't know if I showed you that one, me and Phyllis. And last photo, guys. Last photo. And that's Phyllis and the prop guy. So he was really good. He was really cool. So there you go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those of you that are fans of One False Move. So yes, I have my pictures. And the negatives are somewhere, but there you go. So, oh man, this is great. So if you haven't seen the movie, make sure you guys go out and check out the movie, One False Move. You guys go check this out. Great film. I'm trying to keep with the camera and stuff because it's like opposite and whatever. But yeah, you guys go check it out. And here's something that I didn't know. I found this out. I was like, this is great. I kind of got a little emotional because I remember when I was in film school back in 2010. So back in 2010, I watched a lot of Criterion Collection movies, right? And I was like, wow, man. I said, that'd be cool one day to be in a movie that's on the Criterion Collection. I said, that'd be awesome to be in a film that's on the Criterion Collection. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what happened? Guess what happened? Let me show you. Guess what ended up happening? Boom. One False Move is on the Criterion Collection, guys. One False Move is on the Criterion Collection. Brother, I shed a tear. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, thank you, Lord. It was, man, I'm so appreciative of a lot of things, guys. Some actors may be like, man, that's not this, man. For me, I'm just appreciative of a lot of things, and I like a lot of small things too. But this is a big thing to me, and yeah. So I'll be picking this up, and I could have picked it up a long time ago, but I'm just sitting there like, wow, I'm still in awe of it. I'm like, it made the Criterion Collection. It made the Criterion Collection, man. I was like, yo, so I'm gonna get the 4K and the Blu-ray of this movie of this movie, One False Move, and it was great. I'm like, dude, to actually be in a film that's on the Criterion Collection. The next goal is, ladies and gentlemen, is man, it would be nice to direct the movie that ends up to write, produce, and direct the movie that ends up on the Criterion Collection. So that's the next goal. And actually be in it too, because I'm gonna cast myself in my films as well, whether it's a big part or small or a cameo part or whatever. I don't want to say small, but yeah. So, but yeah, guys. So you guys check it out, man. So go to Criterion and you guys pick this up too. So I'm definitely gonna pick it up. So, yep, man. So, all right, guys, it's been an hour. So it's been over an hour and a half. I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I've enjoyed sharing this story, sharing how, sharing this story, sharing how the Lord has blessed me and through this entertainment industry. And so, yeah, I'm overwhelmed, guys. Sometimes it's hard for me to find the words. So, but let me let you guys know what I have going on. Some of you are curious, like, well, what are you doing now? Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I've got my own production company, and I just finished writing my first book. It's a novel, and let me show you right here. Well, excuse me. This is my company, Filtered Purpose Studios, where story is king. I like this little effect here. This is cool. Which will also be Filtered Purpose TV coming soon. So I already got that set. And right now I'm in development. Turning my own novel into a movie. So that's what I'm doing right now. And it is called Silver, Werewolf Hunter. So, yep. So there we go. Yep. And this is different, guys. This is not like, when you see this, you're going to be like, oh, wow, it is totally different. And so it's not like your werewolf lore and what you think, but yeah, you'll see. You guys will see. When they don't listen, they don't survive. So if you want, you can just go here. I'll put up my website, and then you go there to read the novel. And then, guys, you can also join my mailing list down below. I have a mailing list down here. So you guys can join the mailing list, and I'll keep you updated also I can keep you updated. Here we go. So yeah, you guys join the insiders list, man. Join the insiders list. I'll give you guys updates, and I'm currently working on an app, and the app is going to be awesome. So, and I'll let you guys know when that's going to be available. So that's what's going on there, guys. So Films with Purpose Studios, and let me put up the website for you. Let me put up the website for. Let me find. Where's the link at? Where is it at? Where are you at? Where are you at? There we go. There you go, guys. FWP Studios, FWP Studios. Go there. There you go. There you go, guys. So that's what I got going on. And yeah, and go check out the book. The novel, here's the novel, guys. And boom, you didn't know a novella, a novel can be short. Yeah, it's an easy read, guys. 52 pages. Check it out. So you can go there. Once you go over here, scroll down right here, click this button right there, and this page will come up, and this is where you can order Werewolf Hunter, Silver Werewolf Hunter. This is where you can order the novel, $24.95. There you go. Gives you a little synopsis about it, and there you go. So, yeah, nothing like owning your own IP, guys, and then and then adapting from your own IP. So nothing like it, man. I'm telling you, I'm excited about it, and so we're in development here, and it's going good. It's going good. We're going to be in production pretty soon. So, but yeah, so that's what's going on, guys. So yeah, so I didn't stop acting. I went through other things. I went did after I did more acting after One False Move. I then did a lot of touring, and if you guys want to know and see more of my story and what I've been doing, then you guys can go to my website, for my personal website. And let me share this with you. You guys can go there. And I don't know why it does this sometimes. This is interesting. I'm really thinking about getting this center section off of here because it acts amok sometimes. I don't like that huge gap. I don't know why it does that. But anyway, I have no idea why it does that. But let me show you. So you guys can go here. And there you go. And these are other films. Like in 2023, I was acting, and I was one of the producers, and we did an award-winning short, Don't Wake Willow. And then Terror's Waltz. So shout out to Logan Dunn. Shout out to him. And then some other movies I was doing. So it's just, I didn't just sit around, guys. Short films, production coordinator for Call of Duty app, Dollar Shave Club, production coordinator. So yeah, I didn't sit around and just, not do anything. Of course, there you go. Then when I started doing technical theater and stuff, and on tour, and then my time in the military, serving in the Navy, Army, and Air Force. That's when I was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. That's when I was in the Army. Still focusing on my dream. Then right here, you guys can look at my photography work, because I did some time as a commercial photographer too. So here, let me show you that. So this is my photography work, both for film and digital. So yep. So there you go. So I've been busy over the years, guys. I've been busy, man. So here we go. Let me go back. And then I'm also a funnel designer, web designer, and I designed this. And see, it's supposed to be like that. That thing, I don't know why it just goes and does the gap thing. I gotta fix that. But there you go. So, and for those of you that want to, build your own website and everything else, there you go, right here. And yeah, and that's it, guys. That's my publishing company. Yeah. So that's it. I'm gonna work on this as soon as we're done. Yeah, this section, I'm gonna do something with this. I gotta do something with this. This is oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I know how I'm gonna fix it. This is gonna be slick. So anyway, but yeah, there you go. So that's it, guys. That's it. I'm not trying to go to 2 hours. My goodness. But that's what's going on with me, guys. So thank you guys for stopping by. Don't forget to, check out the book. You guys can stop by Fills the Purpose Studios to pick up your book, Silver, Werewolf Hunter. And then you can also go and check out my website to learn more about me and what I'm doing. And yeah, and there you go. So I hope this has been fun. This has been fun. And I really like the fact that a lot of people really like the film. And that was like, whoo, that was some years ago. My goodness. That was years ago. But you know what? It doesn't matter how many years ago it was. I'm glad and proud to be a part of it. So, and so you guys have a good one. Getting these pictures all together. And you guys have a good one. And let me know in the comments section, what's going on with you, like how you liked it. And, so there we go. All right. You guys have a good one. And I will catch you in the next video. Take care.